Hello, my dear ones, my beloved friends. Every spring I show you which flowers create my beautiful spring. And now, right before summer, because it is already May, I want to show you exactly which plants I chose to make my spring so full of blooms. This way, you will also know which flowers can decorate your own spring flowering. So, let's begin. Here you can see heuchera and a blooming lily. It is a very beautiful combination. The heuchera overwintered here, and the lily has now come in to replace another green plant. And now you can see how lovely this combination is. Notice that the heuchera is flowering too. Let's keep looking. What else is already blooming? Here you can see kalanchoe with petunia. Look at that beautiful mix of colors. This is May in bloom. You can see the heucheras that spent the winter here. Do you see them? They are still here now, and they create these very bright, vivid patches of color. The pansies are already beginning to bloom here, and further on, we have small flowered and large flowered petunias growing together. You can see here the beautiful diplodynia with dracaena and geranium. They are already blooming very nicely in May. There is also kalanchoe and spring dahlias. On the other side of the veranda, our gorgeous camellia is blooming with rich, large red flowers. Then, right across from the white geranium, there is a pink geranium, more kalanchoe. The heuchera has been here since winter, and now it is blooming. And here we also have a spring dahlia in a slightly different shade. Here our spring chrysanthemums are already finishing their bloom. They are almost done, and I will need to remove them soon. This is a very fragrant flower, stalk, like a double maciola. We also have Gerberas blooming here. You see how beautiful it is. There is a composition of petunia and verbena. I have just planted the pansies, and they are beginning to bloom. Kalanchoe, heucheras, and the geranium is also starting to bloom. And the small pink rose has already begun flowering too. Some flowers are even fading already because here are the new buds. You see, May already gives us such a variety of colors and blooming flowers. What else have we done? We have already planted geraniums in the flower bed where the hyacinths have finished their flowering season. They have faded. I cut off the flower stalks, but the leaves are still there, and now I have planted petunias and geraniums among them. This flower bed is not a container bed. It is planted in the ground, which I love very much. But I do not have much ground here where I can plant, so my garden is mostly a container garden. And this little bed is also beginning to bloom beautifully, as you can see. Here we have geranium, heuchera, and petunia. This beauty is just beginning. In summer, it will become very, very lush. Here in winter, I left only the heuchera and the ajuga, and now I have added, as you can see, pansies and geraniums that are already beginning to bloom. But here, my friends, I especially want to show you how beautifully the ajuga is flowering. It is simply incredible. It does not have many leaves right now. You see, such a simple, hardy flower, and yet it gives us beautiful spring bloom. It has been blooming so richly for several months already. The main thing is that after it finishes blooming, I will need to take good care of it, preserve the leaves, give it enough space in the container, and replant part of it. I will probably make a separate video about that. I also want to show you this little flower bed. It is in a very shady place. But you can see that among the heucheras I have planted more flowers. I will probably replant the heucheras because they are already getting in each other's way. This was a spot that was completely in the shade, but now there are heucheras, hostes, and, as you can see, daisies and the plant we call krechka in Ukraine. As it grows, it will become both a shady planting and, closer to the side, still a real flower bed. Here you can see that the geraniums and snapdragons have already started blooming, and there are also daisies, which, by the way, we planted together into this basket. We did that little master class together last year, and now look how they are flowering. Here we have a very gentle bloom of bedstraw, and the white iris is blooming very beautifully already. Soon there will be more blossoms. You can see how many buds are already formed. So this is also a very lovely spring bloom. Here you can see my rock garden. In this area, begonias are already creating the blooming zone. Among the rich greenery that stayed here all winter, the begonias have now begun to flower. I brought them outside. The pelargonium is also starting to bloom. The azaleas are still finishing their bloom a little, and the hostes are opening up. So here too, everything is alive, very beautiful, and full of flowers. And here is my main blooming area, the place near the veranda, where the family rests, drinks tea, and spends time together. Here I want the most beauty of all. You can see that begonias, lilies, hydrangeas, and kalenkoi are already creating a very blooming spring for us. Of course, there are many other plants here too. I am just naming the main ones. In the background, the dipladenias are already flowering along with petunias, daisies, and early little roses. Dianthus is beginning to bloom, and so are the gerberas. And the calceolaria creates such a bright spot. Do you see it? It is also called a lady's purse or a little sleeper. The pansies are beginning to open. The roses are starting to bloom. So this is the kind of beauty we already have. And by the way, the clematis is blooming too. You can see how beautiful it is. It also creates such a cozy atmosphere. My dear ones, these are the blooming flowers that created my spring. I did not tell you about all of them. I hope they will not be offended because I will tell you about them later. And many things have already been planted. There were 3 very intense weeks when I went outside in the evenings and worked almost until night, creating both this blooming spring and the future blooming summer. Later, I will show you what has already been prepared for summer, so you will know exactly what needs to be done to make summer very, very full of flowers. Everything has already been planted, everything has been done. I will probably show you that next time. Write in the comments which flowers you would like to learn about. I also want to open a new series, something like an encyclopedia for each plant. I have talked about many of them before, more or less, but when I start speaking about them, I get carried away somewhere because I love them so much. And some of the girls wrote that certain information was missing, and then some other information was missing too. For each flower that blooms and grows in my garden, I will make this kind of encyclopedia during the season so that we can cover the whole season completely and not miss anything. Stay with me, subscribe if you are watching for the first time, leave comments, and give this video a like to help other women learn about flowers too. I am also thinking of making a very interesting contest with gifts where you can send in your own flowers and we will choose the winners. But I will tell you all about that next time. I love you very much. May your soul bloom with kindness. Bye bye.